Okay. Bowman here. Laporte.
Here.
Patterson.
Here.
Frazier.
Here.
Adi.
Here.
Rush.
Here.
Honey.
Here.
Okay. Motion to approve agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Public comment. David?
David Barron from Sensei.
Yeah.
David?
Thank you.
If you would.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Thank you. My name is David B., and I'm with one of the co-founders of Sensei. I'm here tonight because I know we submitted for a renewal of the contract we have with the township for this. We created and implemented a proactive cybersecurity program with your organization. There is no increase in cost. We did put a option in there for an annual pen test, which would be an additional $3,000. That would bring your contract to $15,000, but you can do 10% discount, which would bring it down. If you decide not to do that, there's no additional cost to what the contract was last year of $10,800. I just want to make a couple quick comments because, and I know I have 3 minutes, so I'm going to go fast. We did an executive briefing with Treasurer Patterson, Trustee Rush, your township manager, Melissa, and with our team, and we did your executive briefing, which is really what we do is we look at where you were when we started our engagement last year, where you are today from what we call our Sensei score, like your credit score for cyber, the opportunities and the gaps, the things that you've done really well, and some of the opportunity gaps you still may have. And I like to say that, you know, I do a lot of executive briefings for our clients. This executive briefing was excellent. Your team, and thank you to the leadership here, and I don't know where he thinks he's going, but, you know, I think a lot of it with Anthony, too. You know, we've seen a great increase in your Sensei score, your credit score, which is really, are you doing the best practice from cybersecurity perspective? In partnership not only with your team here, but also with your managed service provider, Tyler. And so it was an excellent briefing. We've seen great increase. We see you kind of eclipsing to the next phase, which is we call it our 800 plus club. We think we retake your score the first Monday of every month. We believe in March we'll go past 800 plus, so you'll be part of the 800 plus club. Really good, solid work. But cybersecurity is one of those things that's never consistent. It's always changing, and that's why we talked in the executive briefing about the renewal. I wanted to bring it forward. I know you won't vote on that tonight. It would be the next meeting. But I just wanted to come here and answer any questions you may have. And I would be remiss not to say, as I said, cybersecurity is not going away. We see townships in Michigan everywhere, right, being hit with cybersecurity breaches. But the work you're doing as an organization makes you safer. And so I just wanted to say that and give a lot of kudos to the team here because they've done some incredible work. And as the elected officials, you should know that. One last point, because I know your attorney did a lot of good work last year with the annual subscription agreement. I've used the same exact one as last year just to make sure that you didn't have any other different, unless there's other changes, then of course we'll look at those. But wanted to make it as easy and seamless for you as possible. I'm here to answer any questions you may have. Again, I think I've elapsed my 3 minutes.
Sure, for me. Just real quickly too, if you could explain, I had it in the notes, if you could explain what that pen test was again, that other level of what it was.
Yeah, so currently what we do now is we act like the bad actors and we do what we call external vulnerability scans. We do those 24/7 and dark web scans. And we're going to continue to do those, okay? What we do there is we're doing kind of like we're doing drive-bys of your external facing assets, your domains, your website, things like that. And we see what doors and ports are open. And then we alert you, and we alert Tyler and Melissa and Anthony, and we give remediation steps on that. Those are going to continue to go 24/7. The additional piece is something called an annual pen test. We can do an external or internal pen test. We would meet with your team and discuss that. And what that is you actually tell us where you want us to try to penetrate your network, and then we go in, try to do that, and then we see where we can go laterally. We then try to see where we can go. This is a different kind of a pen test because And this is a different kind of a test than your external vulnerability scans because we have to get permission from you to do this. I've been a CIO for the last 20 years, and the annual pen test used to be you'd hire a firm, they'd come in, they'd sit there for like a week, you tell them where you want them to actually try to penetrate, and then they'd go in and they'd write a big report, and it costs a lot of money. Now with the advancement of technology, artificial intelligence, things like that, we can do them for a fraction of the cost, and we do them remotely. But again, it's an extra step, it's an extra layer of protection that we would recommend. But again, if you decide not to do that, that's fine too.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to share with the board briefly again too, is like when we had our meeting it was a Teams meeting last week. It was last week, right?
Yeah,
I think
last
it was
week,
like Wednesday, Thursday. Very impressed. Again, it's not too difficult when it comes to cybersecurity to talk over my head. Not too difficult. So that's what we asked David if he could come and just present. Because for either Mr. Rush or myself to share, he probably knows a whole lot more, I'm sure he does, than I do about it. But when I'm hearing about things about the vulnerabilities when it comes to AI and the advancement with AI, that's a big thing that's going to be ticked up and watched and monitored. And just to see that our score, because I'm all about like credit scores and numbers and everything like that, but our scores are going from what it was before to we're in that over 800 club, if you would, on the scoring criteria thing. That was a big improvement. So thank you for coming. I don't know further to share.
Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, one thing I took away from the meeting was a figure, 22 days. If we ever got hit with ransomware, the average is 22 days you are down. Could you imagine us not being able to service our residents for 22 days? That's pretty darn scary. It's real scary. And I do believe, Bart, how are we gonna get the information in the next board pack for the extra layer? Do you?
We'll get it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I submitted everything to
Yeah,
Ann.
we got
Okay,
it.
great. So that'll be in board pack? Great, fantastic.
So did you guys discuss in the meeting at that time that extra $3,000, what that would do for us versus not doing it? I mean,
Yeah,
That's
he
what he
just
just
explained.
do I know?
Yeah.
I know that, but how deep did he go with you guys? I mean, we're talking numbers there. You wouldn't have offered it if you didn't think that we needed it, and you did say that you thought we did, but,
Yeah.
so, you're easy to go above his head? Well, you're way above mine on that. So what I'm asking is, that extra, how is important is it to have that versus not having it?
It's,
So we would, go ahead, Bart.
I was gonna say, it all depends on, like, when you're talking about insurance on your vehicle, how
Right.
important is it until you need it? And it's very important.
Right, but the insurance is one thing, but this is like protection to not let
It
them
is.
get in. So,
Similar.
so my question is, are we looking at that? Are we gonna look at that, or are we just not gonna look at that? And how important is that extra layer? Is what I want, that's what I
Yeah.
wanna know. I wanna know
So-
why, would we want it, or do we just pass on that?
So last year when I stood in front of the esteemed board, we weren't offering annual penetration tests as part of our solution and product. This year we have launched that. We did recommend to clients last year, we would recommend you have an annual penetration test, but we would tell you that we would give you recommendations who can do it. Coming back this year, you know, one of the things that we looked at, if you look at your Sensei score and getting you over 800, one of the things we do recommend is that you do an annual penetration test. Again, it's just a really good next level of security, checking on some of your, you know, you're going to tell us, your team will tell us what, you know, IPs or domains or areas they want us to try to penetrate. So it really gives us an opportunity to work with you to say, all right, these are kind of the most important areas you want to go, see if you can get in. And that's what we'll try to do. So we recommend you do it. Again, I made a point of saying those external vulnerability scans and dark web scans, they're never going to stop, right? We're still going to do that. This is kind of an extra step, another layer of protection that we would recommend.
So, Chair, if I may. So, real quick, do you have a third party come and do these pen tests, or is it your own programmers?
No,
that-
our team will do the third party.
So it's safe to say that your own programmers know what they're up against, right? It seemed like to me it would be better if it was a third party that didn't know anything about your technology would try to infiltrate the technology. If
So
the same code writers or writing the code, they know where the loopholes are at, you would have to have somebody that maybe was a hacker,
So,
that could try and get in there without knowing what your fail-safes were.
so we don't know your infrastructure they're gonna tell us to try to penetrate. We don't know what that is yet. And so we would be acting like the bad actors trying to get in. We didn't, because you're gonna tell us where you want us to try to penetrate. That's how the penetration tests work. Like, for example, where I used to be CIO, I'd tell them I want them to go into our customer relation management system. And I'd tell them, this is what I want you to try. Go try to get into it. And then they would come in and do that. We would do a similar thing with you.
Chair, if I may, too. Does that answer that, Tom? There's only so much discussion that we can have at the table too as well. So, and David's always available for any board member to call, and he can go into depth in explaining the benefits to it. Because some of the conversations we should not have really publicly about it too.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Well, I've got some more questions, but
Yeah.
if
Well, I mean, feel free.
we shouldn't do it here,
Yeah.
then.
No, he'll be.
Yeah, I won't say anything that I shouldn't
He would
say.
definitely say,
Yeah.
like, we can discuss that
Well,
offline.
you know, obviously, I'm not gonna be worried about saying something, because I really know what I'm talking about. No, I mean, it's just, if you're already protecting us from the bad actors, how bad of an actor can you be to protect us from yourself?
So,
I guess that's what I'm getting at.
yeah,
is-
no, I understand. I understand your question. So what we do is we worked with your great team to create and implement a proactive cyber program from the outside in. We don't put anything on your assets, right? Because we don't want to open up anything. The penetration test is a little different. We have to seek permission from you. You're going to tell us where to go, and then we're going to try to penetrate that. And then we give you a report showing you, here's how if we got in, here's how we did it, and here's the steps now to close it. So it's I understand what you're saying, but we're not inside your network understanding your technology yet.
Okay.
So once you found, say you went in and you found these where you need to close it up, is that an additional fee to close those places up, or are you automatically doing that when you're in there?
No, we won't close any of that thing. We'll tell you what we did, and then we would give you a report back to you. And then like Tyler and his team would probably, and Melissa, they would work on closing those things up.
An additional fee or just part of the plan?
We have, that I don't know what your managed service provider would be charging for that. Yeah, they're already part of your team.
Okay, so it'd just be them, it wouldn't be this,
We would not come back and say, hey, we're gonna charge you now to
to
close this
fix
thing.
what we found.
We're
No,
already
we just,
paying it for
we
the
just
test.
report to you what we
That's I was
found.
asking.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Cool. Thank you, David. Appreciate you
You're
coming.
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thanks again, Dave, for the meeting last week. Very informative.
Okay, Mr. Leroy Page.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
It feels good to be able to come down here and say, do what I'm going to do tonight. We have a program that, as you have been involved with for the last 2 years. I'd like to say to the members of the board and the citizens of Sumpter Township, by way of the media, if you're able to do that, the staff and students of Belleville High School and the Warrior's Journey Second Chance Veterans Outreach, the River of Life Church, has the distinct privilege to invite Vietnam War era veterans from the city of Belleville, Sumpter Township, and Van Buren Township to attend the 50th anniversary commemoration ceremony being held at Belleville High School Main Auditorium on Friday, March 21st at 5 o'clock. Veterans that served anywhere in our military branches from 1st November 1955 to 15th May 1975 are encouraged to attend this ceremony that we might honor their service and their sacrifice by us showing our appreciation and deepest gratitude to them. And in the words of Abraham Lincoln, it is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. 11 November 2025 is the ending date for the Department of Defense in their effort to give Vietnam veterans their rightful claim to honor and respect that is overdue for them. They did not come home in a real good atmosphere. I want to ask you that serve this community to encourage all those you know that live in Sumpter Township or in the city of Belleville or Van Buren Township that you know personally. Would like you to ask them to attend this ceremony. We want to also encourage you, the board members, and all non-military residents from the whole tri-community area to attend this ceremony, to show their appreciation and gratitude to all those veterans that will be there. Flyers have already been given to the clerk's office for distribution on your social media pages and displayed here somewhere where you see fit to have it done, and hopefully at the community center building. Also, I want to thank Sir Anthony Burdick, Mr. Tim Rush, Chief Eric Luke, Treasurer Bart Patterson, in advance for their participation in this upcoming ceremony. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you for your time in allowing me to make this announcement this evening. We hope to see you on March 21st. Thank you.
Thanks, Leroy.
Thank you, Leroy.
We're honored to help.
Ms. Mary Ban.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to say, when I didn't understand on the agenda about, it says public comment, years ago, and I go back many years, used to say public comment on agenda items only, and then at the bottom was always open floor discussion where citizens could discuss that. And I didn't understand that your public comment is what you're allowing any kind of conversation to be stated. So that was what I was say, we don't have open floor discussion, but public comment, and then not public comment just on the agenda. That I appreciate very much, because that was, for many, many years, it was always that way, a public comment on agenda items, and then the open floor discussion. So I see that's been eliminated, but there's a reason why, because it is public comment. Number two that I wanted to discuss, I did receive a call from County Executive Warren Evans' office. Her name was Ashley, and she's supposed to be getting back with me. She called me a week ago in regards to the road situation in Sumpter Township. I told her that I have many, many, many people who continuously have been upset with the traffic, that we don't have a good system out here, as far as I'm concerned, for delivering gravel when gravel is needed. Right now, my road is so atrocious, you have to probably go to about 5 miles an hour. And I know that it's because of weather relation, I understand that. But the maintenance has not been there for a long time. We know that. If it had not been for Supervisor Bowman speaking up last year, we would not have had the good care we did have. And I appreciate that. And we need to keep after the county. The county executive, to have him call. Now, Mr. Wilson, I left a message with them. They have not called me back, and I really don't care, because we got the attention of the county executive. And she is working on it. And she did ask me who was I talking to and who do I convey my concerns to. And I says, well, Karen Woodington in the supervisor's office has taken care of getting the ticket number and all that stuff. So she was going to call Karen Woodington, because I gave her the name. And so she said she'd be back with me, but so far I have not heard any more this week. But that was a week ago, I believe, a week ago tomorrow, either today or tomorrow. And she said she'd be in touch, and I just believe it. She gave me her phone number, at the executive's office, and I appreciated that very much. So I'm just waiting to get a call back and to see what they're going to do for us on these country roads. We like the country, but when it comes to being almost impassable, or to have a problem with the fire trucks, police cars, finding the roads impassable, I feel that that is a safety problem. It's a public safety problem across the board. Doesn't matter which county, which dirt road you live on. It's a concern of safety. And I think that needs to be reiterated, and that's what I told her. And I says, I just hope that they will address that issue as far as the safety and getting gravel on the roads, getting the proper grading done, and listening to the citizens. Because people are complaining, but they just, I've talked to a couple of people just in the last couple of few days, and they said, yeah, it's very, very bad. And I knew when this thaw, whether this is the real spring thaw or not, I don't know. But it's, with all the warmth, it really took a change. Now, one question Barney wanted me to bring up, because Barney's not up to coming down to the meetings anymore. We would like to know, we got our Sumpter water bill. And until we find out what is water use, meters, the rubbish pickup, what are the usage, until that time, he wants a revised bill. He wants it done correctly, because he says that is not, the usage is always on the bill. There's nothing on here except that we owe this amount of money. And as far as he's concerned, he used to be on the board many, many years ago, and he says this is not satisfactory to be presenting that to the public. We need to know usage. We need to know what the rubbish pickup is, people who have sewer, the grinder pump. All those things need to be listed and not just have one little sum of money. So when I bring my bill in, I want a reprint of, well, all our usage and all the other things that would be included on that, especially the rubbish pickup. So can I ask that to be done when I come down?
Mayor, yeah, there was appreciate bringing that up. There was an error from what I was reported to by the water billing clerk that, Mr. Berta, can you alert me or tell me which one that was, or which section that went out? Because
I don't recall which cycle. There were 2 cycles that went out, treasurer, but I don't recall which one.
Yeah, there's always, you can always just call in anytime and get that, I agree that should be in there, but from what I was alerted, this was just end of last week that there was an error. And so we're gonna be fielding phone calls probably for the next couple weeks.
Well, when I bring in the bill next week to pay, can I have that added to the present bill and find out the usage and everything else on it?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, I appreciate that, because that was his concern. He felt it's a very unsatisfactory, addition to, because people that have other things that are on there besides rubbish and water usage, and he just likes to have it right amount of money, or right.
You can call in advance too. You can have it emailed to you. Anybody can call. We
Okay.
can send it to you. You don't have to wait to come in. It can
Yeah,
be-
well, I always come in to pay my bill, but
Yep.
I'm speaking for Barney. He says they need to redo this bill. The other thing is, I want to compliment Mary Ann Watson. I had a need for some people to get different loan things, items, walkers, rollator walkers, different items, commode chairs. And she really helps out. People who don't realize that they have a need, and they've asked, they'll ask me, or I don't ask, I just observe. And I'll say, why aren't you using a walker or a rollator walker? Or are you having needs? She said, I hang on my furniture. I says, do you think that's safe? And she says, well, I don't know. She says, the other day her legs gave out. And I says, okay, I think it's time for a walker or a rollator walker. And she says, well, she says, I didn't want to go out and buy one, or I didn't want to do it because I really couldn't get out of the house to do that. I says, well, we'll find out. So I asked Marianne early this morning. I left her a call. She called me back. And because I thought the lady lives over in Van Buren Township, but Marianne informed me that Van Buren does not have a loan closet. And they oftentimes call Marianne and ask for a loan of medical equipment or whatever they have. And I want to appreciate that, because that is something, when you get to the point where you need a cane or you need this or you need that, to know that it's available through our township senior coordinator is much appreciated. And I just wanted to let that be known to the board because until you have a need of it, you really don't know what that happens when people are having some difficulties with their mobility and everything else. And so today when I delivered this to this person that was in really a need, she couldn't believe it. She says, "You mean that she gave this to us to borrow?" I says, "Absolutely." And I've done it for about 3 or 4 other people because they did not know that that was available. And so I want to commend Mary Ann for managing that part of the senior coordinator business. So thank you very much.
Chair, if I may too, quick follow-up. Mary, when we talked last week about that too, because when we talked on the phone, you said you had not heard back from Mr. Wilson's office.
No, I did not hear yet.
So I called him and you left me a voicemail that said, "Just want to let you know that I got a call back from Mr. Wilson's office." So
No,
that,
I thought, I probably was mistaken. It was from Mr. Warren, the county executive's office.
okay.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I said Warren.
Yeah, he said, so, okay, just wanted to, get it clear, because I did exchange emails, and I think I even forwarded it to you, that he said, I'm on it, I've responded, we're on it, and we're on it, so,
Mr. Warren's office,
okay.
which was surprising, but she says, I said, "Are you from Mr. Wilson's office?" She said, "No, I'm from county executive Warren Evans' office."
Got it. All right. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. We're moving on. Minutes. A, approve regular board meeting minutes of February 11th, 2025.
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the February 11th board meeting minutes with 2 corrections, if we could. Supervisor was marked in there as excused, but he was present, so if we could make that correction. And also on agenda item E, that Supervisor Bowman voted yes on that.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Okay. B, accept the planning commission meeting minutes of February 13th, 2025.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. C, accept the zoning board appeals meeting minutes of February 13th, 2025.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Okay, moving on. Approved warrants of $4,391,494.79.
So moved with a roll call vote?
Support.
Addie?
Yes.
Fraser?
Yes.
Treasurer Patterson?
Yes.
Clerk Laporte?
Yes.
Rush?
Yes.
Honey?
Yes.
Bowman? Yes. Okay.
Chair, if I could ask the board to circle back to the planning commission meeting minutes for the 13th, and ask the board member that made that motion and support to rescind it. We have not had a meeting since the 13th, so I don't think the planning commission has approved those minutes yet. That just happened on the 13th of February, so we have to circle back and approve the minutes before they come to the board for approval.
You got the,
You haven't never, we haven't approved them as the planning commission.
oh, I got you, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we haven't
Yeah.
seen them yet, yeah.
Good,
So
good catch, Matt.
that was actually Mr. Young that reminded me that we have not had a meeting since.
Well, no, I thought maybe you had 2 meetings or something, because that has happened. We've had back-to-back meetings. So if the planning commission approved the meetings, then it's
Yeah, no,
appropriate. to-
we have not met since the 13th.
And I don't think ZBA has met since the 13th either.
No.
So then,
Yeah,
should
so
we
we'll
have, should
rescind
we
both
just make
B
a,
and C.
should we just table that then, or?
Yes. Well, we shouldn't table it because we won't have a meeting for the next.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll just rescind
I'd
it.
remove them.
Yeah.
I'd remove them.
I'll rescind my motion and make a motion to remove it from the agenda, or however we do that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with
B
it.
and C.
Support.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Okay, Mr. Burdick.
Yes, sir. How are you this evening, board? Attendees, good evening. My report you had in the meeting packet, I'd like to touch on a couple of extra things, if I may. The paperwork, hot off the press and signed by our supervisor for the MEDC grant of $25,000 has been finalized, and we'll be seeing that actual influx shortly. And as the board may recall, that was an application put in for parks and grounds improvements. So as we discussed about some of these offsets to the ARPA spend, that was one of those. So we have those funds available shortly. I would like to bring up, and Chief Luke, I'm going to kind of hit the high notes if you'd like to add to it, please. We find ourselves in, and we hate these conversations, somewhat of a vehicle crunch. Our ordinance vehicles, both north of about 150,000, one of them is down for repairs. We actually are recommissioning the DPW director's vehicle until such time as we can sort out. I bring that up only for TENA awareness so that the board's aware of it. One of those, Chief, is in for, it could have been in for about $3,500 in repairs. Is that correct? Absolutely. We're holding off on that because, frankly, those two vehicles are a multi-use generational vehicle that got well used by our PD and then got stepped down for ordinance to use. And not quite sure they got enough legs left in them to consider investing that kind of money in repairs for them. And both those vehicles are right around 150,000 miles. So we need to do an assessment on those. I do have, if I can move on, please. Vigilante Systems has submitted to me the adjusted proposals for the overall cost. They are in process of preparing contract documents for those systems, and I'll keep the board aware as I receive those. Next piece, Rigo Windows, like many suppliers, had to invest some time to get those approved PD Southside windows and get those in from the manufacturer. They're going to be on site this week installing those windows. So that's another board-approved project that'll be completed. The only other thing that I would like to bring up is the Belleville CBC will have their annual Memorial Day parade and ceremony Monday, May 26th. We participated not only in the parade with our number of our board members as well as our police and fire units. And we also participated in that ceremony on Monday, May 26th. And the good supervisor laid a wreath in representation of Sumpter. So if there are no other questions, I'll say thank you. Very good.
Motion to accept the TM report?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Water and sewer report, Patterson.
I'll just go right, Chair, if I could, just go right from water and sewer report into the treasurer's report too. So quickly, board, you'll have on there in the water billing report, if you look down, this is one of the key things that we try to keep track of is the delinquent total. It's in dark green, so it's kind of hard to see, but if you'll notice, the previous month's was 117,403. It's down about 33,000 to delinquent totals 84,350 and some change. Just wanted to read a note on the bottom of the report here. The board doesn't have this. It says shutoffs begin on the 25th of each month on accounts that have a past due balance higher than $200. After penalties have been calculated each month, the consistency of this process continues to be a key factor in driving the delinquency total down. Unfortunately, I don't understand it myself, but there are a lot of people that just wait until they get their water shut off to come in and pay the bill. So that's the process, but once you get water shut off, then they come in and pay the bill, so we need to be on top of it. That's one of the reasons why we had the totals went up, is because of 25th falling in December and all, we're shutting water off and township was closed down at the time, so That concludes the water report, water and sewer report. And then also too, so really quickly, again, the board has treasurer's report here, amounts, bank balances, everything like that too. I was not able to get this in copies of like our different investments. We'll notice that we have several different coming up, one even is on Monday right now, from an investment where money sits idle. We don't just let it sit idle because it's gonna become up for future use. We'll invest it to make whatever interest we can at the time. So we're gonna be probably bringing that from right what we have it now as Public Service Credit Union back into Michigan class. So we're gonna be losing a little bit in percentage. Obviously, everybody's paying attention to the interest rates. We've been getting 5.75, and ranges go anywhere from like 3.2 to 4.25. But with Michigan class, good relationship we have with them there, we can get 4.5 there. So we'll be moving that investment over to Michigan class. And that concludes both the water and sewer report and treasurer's report.
Chair, before we move on and approve those reports, I wanted to ask about the water. I know you didn't know what schedules went out wrong, but my question is, did I miss an email on that? I mean, I'm a little disappointed. If I did, I apologize to everybody, but I'm disappointed that I'm at a board table finding out that we had errors go out to residents and having a resident, telling us about these errors.
I'm not sure if that was the error or not, but it just came in on Friday, and I don't, I think it was in cycle 2, and I don't even really know to the extent of what it is. I know that our township manager was circled in on it. I saw an email that came across, and corrections were made quickly, but was by the time they went out to the printer, it's not a big, huge error, but it's something where it might cause a confusion. So
do we know how many went out in error?
I don't know in cycle 2. But I appreciate bringing that up.
Yeah.
I'll find out tomorrow. I'll send
Yeah,
it out to
I
the
know you're
board.
doing the report, you're not doing the work, but.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Exactly, don't shoot the messenger, I just wanted to know, so, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on.
Motion to accept both of Treasurer Patterson's reports.
All in favor?
I'll support that.
Aye.
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 Nays? Motion carried. Attorney's report, Young.
You got planning to do, I think, still? Or did?
Yeah, we still have a planning report.
Planning and zoning.
I don't
You
have
can
an
do my,
attorney's
you can do my
report.
planning report.
Well, I don't have an attorney's report, so
I scribbled all over that. So
Yes, we know, planning is a tough one. Right now, the planning commission is looking at roof pitches again. We had a ZBA regarding a roof pitch of 512. Our ordinance is 612, and it's a modular home. I did check it out when we made that decision to approve the roof pitch. It is the standard roof that the modular home makes on a ranch. They make a 612 on a 2-story. We had moved it from a 412 to a 612, I believe, 5 or 6 years ago. So we are gonna be looking at potentially moving that back to the middle, as a lot of the modular homes are looking at a 512. So that'll all come back to the board for approval or consideration, so. And we're also looking at accessory buildings that we've already previously addressed with allowing family members to live in an accessory building that has living quarters. So there were some amendments to that the planner was bringing to us and suggesting. So
talk about having a mother-in-law's quarters on the same property.
Yeah,
Separate dwelling.
yeah. And that is the extent of my report.
I'll make a motion to approve the planning and zoning report.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Attorney's report, Young.
unless there's questions, Mr. Chairman, I don't have a report for tonight.
Make a motion to receive and file attorney's report.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Board response.
Chair, if I may. In talking with Chief Luke, the Skywarn training for this year, again, COVID really messed things up. It's been a few years since we've done the training. I encourage both of our chiefs to alert the, all their personnel, PD, FD. Residents are encouraged to come too. We're actually gonna invite, first responders from Huron Township too. We're thinking it's gonna be late March, and we're thinking doing it on a Saturday morning. And what I do with the PowerPoint proposals I get from the National Weather Service, they run about an hour and 40 minutes. What I do is I tailor it to the township, just the specific, you know, the meat and potatoes that's needed. And I guarantee that hour will go by just like that. We have several people sitting in this room that have gone through the training, and they can testify that it's worth an hour of your time to, you know, just have everybody aware of that is incredible. I mean, especially, you know, our PD and FD, DPW, they're out and about in the township. And, you know, that early warning gives me and Chief Luke a little more advanced warning if we've got to hit the switch on the sirens. So we'll have more information here on the exact date and timing and all that over, of course, in the next couple weeks. Typically, Chief, are we just going to do that again at Fire Station 1? Yeah, big room, nice screens. And back to you, Chair. Keep you informed.
Thank you, Tim.
Chair. Oh, sorry, Don, if you wanted to jump in.
No, you can, it doesn't matter to me.
Well, since I said chair first, I wanted to follow up on our the meeting we had prior to this for any residents that were here, that we were doing an interview committee to start our TM process, which we're unfortunately having to do. But you know, the meeting kind of went kind of fast, and there were some things that we didn't do at the end, you know, like thanking the candidates and thanking Debbie. Debbie pulled together a lot of information for us over a short period, got it in our hands. She did our tallies for us, and we were able to, you know, do our discussions and pick our candidates. And I appreciate the committee for getting that done, everybody doing their homework, and I appreciate Debbie helping us out. And I want to say we had a large group of candidates that had some very deep experience, you know, governmental accounting and things. So I'm excited to you know, get to the interview process.
Thank you, Matt. Don?
Yeah, the clerk's office received an email today from Priority Waste. Obviously with the weather changing, as Ms. Bands noted. Once again, they're telling the clerk's office that they're gonna do the best they can given the road conditions. They said the back roads, dirt roads were a sheet of ice. And they're gonna do the absolute best they could to have everybody's trash picked up in a timely fashion. That they were just, I think, doing a little preemptive email out, and I shared that with the rest of the board right away. And now I'm sharing it with the public as well. I did have a nice, candid, quick phone call with the county today from the District 11 Commissioner's Office, Mr. Al Wilson, about the county's position on paving Judd Road between Vaughan and Rawsonville. It's very perceptive to it still. They did have a Wayne County Commission meeting this week. They're trying to facilitate a plan on how they're going to divvy out the state funds that the county gets for rural areas, which includes us. He assured me that the Sumpter Township is at the top of his list solely because of this being a public safety priority. Getting police and fire trucks expeditiously out to the residents that need them the most. We will be asked, we as the community here, will be asked to come down to the county building in Detroit and probably give a pitch for our idea and the reasons behind it. Again, I've shared our risk assessment that Captain Good has been so nice to draw up for us, which they absolutely loved it. I'm actually going to probably bring him with me when I go down to the commissioners meeting. And he assured me that there's going to be some money. He just doesn't know how much. He doesn't know if there's going to be enough to get the complete 2.1 miles done, maybe half now, half later, or something to that effect. But it's definitely on his radar. He was kind enough to reach out back to me again, and I appreciated it. I thanked him for keeping in touch, keeping me in the loop with what was going on, and that I would share it at tonight's meeting. And back to you, Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, if I could add to Don's public safety, I was gonna wait till I sent you guys email, but I've also been in contact with Mr. Wilson regarding the public safety, and it was some of the things that Mary, you brought up and other residents brought up, is these overhanging trees that we have in the branches, and so, I went through the township, I took pictures to show them these huge, some of these are as big as, mature trees that are hanging across the road, and, we do have a ticket number, so that they can address it, but, I used the common sense to them. I said, the guys from the county are out here cutting the ditches. When they are out here, they can see these trees. We shouldn't have to report a large tree overhanging the road when the county guy drove past there and cut the ditch underneath it. And so I said, I can give you, all the examples you want, but I mean, this should be ongoing maintenance by the county as part of them coming into our community. When they're grading the roads, they gotta drive underneath these trees. So if they can coordinate their efforts, they'll have a list in every community they service of these type of situations. It shouldn't be that a grader guy is not concerned about an overhanging tree. He should be reporting that to the department that he works for there, and it shouldn't require us to call and make a ticket and wait for them to do something. It should be proactive as they are in our community, seeing these things that we need to have done. So I'll send you the email with the ticket that I got back from him, but that was something else that I added on to the roads and things that we have issues with.
Thank you, Matt. Any more? Okay, we'll move on to new business. A, consider approving the planning commission recommendation for a text amendment to section 6.4 regulation of animals.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. B, consider approval of resignation of Chair J. Savage, Parks and Recreation Committee effective January 17th, 2025, with regret.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. C, consider approval of Nicole Van Ashley as Chair of Parks and Recreation Committee and Michelle Baham as Treasurer and effective February 27th, 2025.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. D, consider approval to pay Midwest Pavement, Inc., final invoice for the additional work and fees authorized on the parking lots totaling $5,486.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. E, consider approval of Deputy Treasurer Erica Campbell attending MMTA Advanced Institute Training May 14th through May 16th at the cost not to exceed $800, as broken down in the supporting documents.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. F, consider approval of Treasurer Bart Patterson to attend MMTA Basic Institute Training April 28th through May 2nd, a cost not to exceed $1,415, as broken down in supporting documents.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. G, consider approval to increase Carrie Ford's contract account hours from 55 to approximately 100 hours per month until a permanent finance director is hired.
So moved.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. H, consider approval to direct Stacy Belay, labor attorney, to prepare a separation agreement and closure documentation for existing workman's compensation issue.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Moving on, announcements. Motion to it,
I might as well make this like it's just a On items E and F here, I'm laughing at it because I'm underlining. This is, as I had my Deputy Treasurer Erica do up the agenda items. Laughing because she's going into her advanced institute training and mine's just the basic institute training. So,
Got 'em backwards.
yeah, I feel like just the rest of the board knows I'm basically
You don't
going
need
to.
the advanced?
Yeah, no, I can't go to the advanced, so I'm basically going to elementary school, if you would. Well, the deputy's going on into junior high and high school, so. But I appreciate the board's support and also too, just in the advanced notification, because it's an entire week, I'm taking off work to go there. There's an additional 2 days that I need to attend at the beginning and at the end, so that's why the increase in cost is for the basic. So, anyway, appreciate the board doing that.
Motion to adjourn?
Support?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.